there by accident, because I'm not a comedian in any way, but I would like to share with you what I do as, as a creative entrepreneur and graphic recorder. So my name is Bernie, and I'm a graphic recorder, and my company is called Sketch Post Studio. So what is exactly graphic recording? It sounds kind of serious, graphic recording, but what it basically means is that I record things in a graphic way through illustration. So this is me, graphic recording at an event. So what I do is I will listen to speakers and I'll visualize their content as they speak, and I will come up with analogies, different ways of just explaining things in a way that would be easy for the attendees or even people to see that weren't at the actual event. So this is an example, an event in Singapore, where as the panel discussion is going on, I'll draw them. So this is, it looks kind of interesting when it happens, and then the outcome would be a full color drawn at the end. So what exactly does this look like? So at an event, I'll usually be at the back or in the front drawing as the speakers are talking. So it can be topics like design, business, technology, whatever. Even I've done weddings before, and the topics are usually very diverse, and it challenges me to kind of think on the spot and think very quickly. So, and then the outcome of each drawing will be displayed. People can tweet. It helps with social media. They can Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It helps everyone kind of understand the content better as well. So this would be good if they take pictures and use it for workshops or to share with friends after the event. And the outcome would be a booklet that they can print and share online through PDF as well. So how did all this kind of start? I just draw, you turn it into a business. How did that kind of start in the past few years? So let's go way back to when I was in primary school as a child. I've been drawing since I was a child, and many of us have been as well. But I kind of kept it going as I grew up. And for myself, drawing was something I did for fun. I enjoyed doing it. No one had to kind of teach me. My mom saw my talent as a young child, and she wanted, like most Chinese parents, wanted to send me for tuition, which is our art class. Oh, my kid is good at this. Let's take her for tuition. Let's put her, and then she can do better as well. But at that time, I was in a Mandarin school, so my parents don't speak Mandarin, but they wanted me and my siblings to go to a Mandarin school to learn Mandarin because China is getting bigger, it's getting stronger, we should speak Mandarin. And you're Chinese, you should speak Mandarin. So it was hard for us because our parents don't speak, but we went to Mandarin school anyway. So of course, if you're not good in Mandarin, you go for Mandarin tuition, you go for maths tuition classes in Mandarin as well, you go for science tuition classes in Mandarin as well. And at that time, it was just, I thought that why would you kind of take what I do for fun and turn it into a tuition? So when many parents ask me as well how I kind of developed my talent, did I go for classes, did I go for tuition or art class, and I told them that I think if I did, I most probably won't really be where I am today, and I'll share more of that later. So here we go. My parents were always supportive of my drawing, as I mentioned, so let's go take her for tuition and get her better, which I openly refused to go, and they never really understood why. So from there, in school, I would doodle during class, sometimes to support my learning, sometimes I'll just draw girls and flowers and rainbows. And of course, at that time, teachers weren't very supportive of my creativity. So at the time, my teachers would be like, they would put me in front of class and say like, oh, she's drawing, she's not paying attention, just drawing all day. And at that time, truthfully, I wasn't actually paying attention, but it was a slowly start of me developing how I run my business today. So fast forward to SPM. I did pure science in SPM. I didn't pursue pure science like most people that pursue pure science in high school. My mom was the one that kind of supported me to pursue design. But for myself, I never saw my work as anything that was really a career. I could draw, but I wasn't really that good. I wasn't really going to be a superstar illustrator. So in the end, we found a course that did interior design that was more structural and a respectable career. So at the time, even now, probably the most respectable design career would be architecture or interior designer. So that's why I went into interior design. And that was when how graphic recording really came into my life at that point. So how that started was through lectures at college. So lecturers would tell you that, oh, you're in college now, we don't give notes anymore, take your own notes. So that's how it kind of started. I would take notes in class, and then would be more for myself. In my small little A4 notebook, no one would really, I wouldn't show my friends, there were nothing really special about it. But how it got better was eventually I went for youth events, conferences, like design, technology, business, random things I would just show up from, even like events like this in my past. And I would just draw, and maybe eventually if it was good enough, I would scan it and pass it to the organizer to email, or just give it to the people I met. So from there, I kind of met a lot of people that encouraged me to they saw value in it that I myself didn't see. To me, it was just taking notes. I'm like any other kid out there, I take notes, I'm like a nerd, I sit in the front row, I just take notes. This can't really be a career, but people saw value in it. So in the end, I did see other companies in UK and Europe UK and the US that actually do this as a business. And I thought, maybe one day I'll be just as good, but right now let's just pursue interior design, let's be a good girl, graduate, and then maybe get a job and just be stable. So that all kind of changed when I actually started working in Singapore after I graduated. From there, I went for more events, I got better and good exposure as well. But what really kind of gave me the creative spark was when I got a job in San Francisco, and I moved there. And of course, when you're there, you're kind of inspired by the entrepreneurship Silicon Valley. There were kids, or teenagers that were like 16 and 18, and they were encouraged to drop out to pursue their app idea and stuff like that. And at that point, I was like 22, and I felt, oh gosh, I'm 22 and I have not started my company, I have not done anything that's super interesting. And I knew that I had this talent that people saw value in, but I was not confident enough to really pursue it. So that was really the creative spark where I was like, at that point I was thinking, if I ever come back to Malaysia, I should start a company, actually pursue this full on, and not be scared and not just wait. And also the good thing about starting young is that you're willing to risk it. If I started maybe later in my 30s, I would have people come up to me and tell me that I can't do this because I have to support my family, I can't just quit my job, I need a stable income, I can't just try something new just like this. But for me, right now, I feel that when I started my company, I have nothing to lose. I have everything going for me, there's no reason why I shouldn't do it. So from there, this is how successful students started. And so these are a few of examples of work that I've done for events here in KL and Singapore and all over the world. So this was a recent event in KL. It was the Global Entrepreneur Summit, where Obama was supposed to come last year, but instead John Kerry came. So this was a few drawings. So I've covered a few high-profile people and then a few really interesting people as well along the way. So this was the outcome of that event, where people can see the drawings and they become good photo opportunities. So this helps the social media go along engagement. People can take pictures, people can post in front of it, and so on. And these are larger events where they have long, like 2-hour-long panel discussions. So usually stuff like this is really boring. This was once a CSR summit in Singapore. And of course CSR is not really something that's fun or interesting to look at. But when I dig it into my head, it kind of becomes this whole illustration as the speaker goes along. So which makes everyone really exciting because it's very corporate. They come in suits, they come in their high heels, and they're there to listen. And they see this and they're like, whoa, this is very different from what we perceive CSR or how information can be seen. So yeah, so it encourages conversation as well. We produced 7 of these boards within 2 days, and it just helps everyone kind of enjoy that information and kind of learn and actually have conversations, taking the information a step further. And this is TEDx Singapore in Singapore, and this is TEDx Women, where women were there to share their stories of entrepreneurship as well. So of course, for individual speakers, I do portraits of their faces and I kind of celebrate their information. So of course they're happy and it looks great when they pose as well with the drawings. So these drawings really help to kind of brighten up an event, because most people, if you go for an event, you'll be like, oh, speaker was okay, speaker was pretty, speaker was boring, the food was good, food was free, and then met a lot of nice people. In the corporate world, it's networking, it's less about the speaker. So for myself, even sometimes when I do a whole event the whole day, I might just when the speaker steps off stage, I kind of forget what anything ever happened. And I'm the one taking notes, so imagine someone in the audience, you probably won't actually remember anyway. So what I do, and organizers love it because it helps celebrate information, and especially for speakers, sometimes they're based on, it can be a Susan Ball situation, where they walk on stage and you're like, I'm out, like, this is going to be so boring. But what they actually, sometimes even though they're not good at presenting, their information and their content, what they're talking about is actually really, really good. And I help capture that in a drawing where you don't judge them based on face value. And I think that helps speakers a lot, especially in corporate events where most people are there just to celebrate their CEO and they're like, we're just there to celebrate, but we don't really think about anything else. So yeah, so how I kind of start with this is that there's no rubbers, which I don't do any free drawing before I go straight on marker onto the board. That's it. And quirky is good. It's good to be weird. I like to have fun with my drawings, keep it funny. And also, I move very quickly. My hand feels like falling off after every event, after a full day. But it's worth it when you see all the information together. And I'm not afraid to make mistakes. If I do make a mistake, that's the good paper. So it's actually okay. And I always have fun. Most of this, everything, as you can see from the way I started, this was fun for me. I never thought it would be a business. I didn't think people would pay for someone to take basically notes at their events. But actually so much more than taking notes, it's visualizing ideas, and that's where the value is. And many designers or illustrators, the way they style their content is that I'll draw you, I can draw things, I can draw you, give me a picture, I can draw for you. And what you basically end up doing is that you do like thank you cards, you do like a mural, you do stuff like that. And that's how people view illustration. Like, oh, I'll just get the cheapest illustrator, they'll just do it. That's why there's no real value in it, and that's how a lot of people perceive it even in today. So that's why many parents won't really encourage their kids to pursue it, because it depends on how you market your work. So I market my work as I'm visualizing your ideas, and that's where the value is. And that's why I work very well with corporates and people are willing to pay to actually hire me to work on things like this. So it depends on your perception of what design is and how it can help. And also designers themselves have to also be confident to say that my work is not just pretty, it actually creates value for you and you learn a lot from it. So thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll pass it on to Kimberly now.